my empire. Drezu here, back with another video, and today I'm coming at y'all with an ESO class PvP tier list for Ascending Tides. Now, I feel like I've played this update long enough to know where each class stands in the meta right now. Basically, I played it enough to know what's top and what's not. It's clear as light as day which classes are, top right now. Like, it's really clear right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. And spoiler alert, you're gonna be seeing a lot of green in the top. Anyway, you feel me? So I feel like I could tier it. I feel like I can do a pretty accurate tier list of where everything stands. And before we get into the tier list, you already know, I want to ask y'all to hit the like button, subscribe, join the empire. You already know, helps me out, helps the channel out, and helps the channel grow. And without further ado, let's get into the tier. Hold on, before we even get into tiering the classes, let me explain what each tier represents. So, S tier means that the class is overperforming, it's doing really well. It's the top class to play in this meta. A tier means that the class is good, it's a solid class. It's not overperforming, but it's not underperforming by any means. It's it's a consistent class to play. B tier means that the class is okay. It does good in certain areas and it does bad in certain areas. 1 minute you're gonna be spanking people, just washing people, putting them in the dirt. Then the next minute you're gonna feel like, hold on, why do I feel a little bit underpowered? That's the B tier. You feel me? And C tier means that the class is underperforming. It's not doing as well as the other classes. You can clearly, visibly see it's struggling to even compete with, compete in open world PvP or PvP in general. So that's the C tier. Anyway, without further ado now, let's really get into the tier list. So first class we have is MagDK. Now MagDK, I'm confidently going to put it in A. MagDK is a class that I actually played a little bit in this update, and I actually enjoyed it. MagDK has naturally really good damage, good sustain with coagulating blood. I feel like you don't need to use some of the new heals, the new hybrid heals on MagDK like Vigor and Rally. I feel like the old standard MagDK setups are good enough, like dual wield resto or destro resto or destro sword and board back bar. Those standard MagDK setups I feel like are still gonna be the most valuable in this update. Me personally, I run dual wield and resto because dual wield in the passive you get more damage towards people you have stunned, and that's just a given for MagDK. With Petrify, you got them stunned, do your burst damage, do your flame ticks, they're shredded, they're out of there. But yeah, MagDK really good. Like I said, damage sustain, resource sustain. DK in general has some of the best offensive sustain in the game, which means that they get a lot of sustain from just fighting. They're using their ultimate gives them sustain, using abilities gives them sustain. So yeah, MagDK, solid A. They're not overperforming. They're not just have an unfair advantage over the other classes, but it's solid. Solid class. Next class we have is StamDK. Now StamDK I'm going to put in S. To be honest, StamDK is just a better MagDK. Like, now it's just a better MagDK because StamDK can utilize like every move that a MagDK can utilize. Essentially, you can use Flame Lash on StamDK now. You can use Burning Embers on StamDK now. Coagulating blood now is going to scale to your weapon damage, which just makes you unkillable. I've personally been playing StamDK a bit. Bro, Colag is just it, bro. You like, StamDK is already a tanky class, right? It's already a tanky setup, and for you to have a heal that's not even in your main resource, it's a magic heal. Even though StamDK does utilize Magicka a little bit in their their setup, Colag is a Magicka heal. It's not even their main resource stat, and it gives them like all their health back. You go to like 15% health to like 80% health with one move. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's no bursting a DK down anymore. They're just too tanky. Too tanky, good damage. Like I said, they can utilize mag DK moves, and they can utilize, you know, some of the OUs they utilize, like, you know, Noxious Breath. Mag DK, I've seen some people use Noxious Breath on Mag DK too, but I feel like this update was more in favor in stamina in general, because it's more convenient for stamina characters to use Magicka moves than for Magicka characters to use stamina moves, because Magicka characters still need to utilize their stamina for blocking, roll dodging, breaking free, etc. So yeah, Stam DK is a definite S. It's just really, really good. Now, Mag Blade is gonna be the next class to hit this tier list, and bro, I'm gonna cry. It used to be this. No, it used to be this. All the way in the bottom. Now we could put it in A. Bro, that I've been having so much fun on Mag Blade, bro. It's definitely like a solid class. Now, it used to be unplayable. I used to like just play Mag Blade and be like, bro, this is just unplayable. Now it's solid. I want you to think of Mag Blade as just Stam Blade with Magicka moves, because that's what this basically is. You know, now that we have actually really, really good heals like Vigor and Rally, it just put them on a good level. You know, that's all they needed was better sustain, and now that they have it, they're monsters. You feel me? If you haven't seen my Mag Blade build, I highly suggest you go check it out. That's the new Mag Blade meta. Basically, in that build, I have two-handed and resto staff in the back bar, and my heals are ridiculous. If I don't want to drop, I don't have to drop. Really good damage as well. We don't have to run Siphon anymore. We don't have to run Funnel Health anymore, or the other morph of it. I forget what it's called. We don't have to run that anymore just to have good healing. You know, just to have some, you know, healing from an offensive move. We already have enough healing now. We have Vigor, we have Rally, we have Rapid Regeneration. That's 3 God heals, bro. Vigor and Rapid Regeneration alone is just overkill, because they're just 2 burst heals, tick, 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 tick. On Mag Blade, that's really, really valuable. I've been having a lot of fun. Really good damage. You can run Concealed Weapon now, which is just, you know, the Magicka version of Surprise Attack. Yeah, you can even run End Cap if you want, but my particular build, I don't run End Cap on Mag Blade. You can even run End Cap, but bro, Mag Blade has just been so fun. Good damage, good sustain. With healing, good resource sustain. Nightblade already has really good resource sustain. And Nightblades have one of the best burst abilities in the game, which is either Grim Focus or Relentless Focus, bro. And that ability, oh my, like, if you crit with that ability, bro, it's basically wraps for the person you're fighting, bro. It does so much damage, and crit on top of that. Plus, Nightblade already gets natural more crit damage in their passive, bro. That ability is just on a whole nother level, you feel me? So yeah, Mag Blade is in the game now. Mag Blade is actually a good, solid class to play now. So definite A for me. Now, Stam Blade, I'm going to put at S. What can I say? Stam Blade has been just doing really, really good. I kind of build Stam Blade differently than what other people think. Well, how other people build it. I'm actually gonna make a build video on Stam Blade pretty soon, so you feel me? Look out for that. But Stam Blade, for me, just seeing how they perform and seeing other people perform with Stam Blade, it's ridiculous, bro. I've seen a lot of setups where people have dual wield and restoration staff, and I feel like that's the best setup for Stam Blade. Dual wield because, like I said, in the passive with dual wield, you get more damage to people who are stunned. What is the Stam Blade's best stun? End cap. So not only are you gonna end cap and get that extra damage off, you know, the extra damage bonus from end cap, but you got the damage bonus from dual wield as well, which is gonna be crazy. And you have restoration staff. We can run rapid regeneration. We don't need for Stam Blade now. You don't need two-handed for that burst heal anymore. We don't need that rally burst heal anymore. Our burst heal can come from a restoration staff. And now we can utilize the restoration staff as well. I think it's called Panacea. And when we're in a bind, when we're in a situation where we're about to die, pop Panacea, we get a good shield, a good heal. And yeah, we're straight. So Stand Blade, amazing damage with end cap. You know, they can use rapid regeneration now, which puts their sustain just up there. You know, Nightblade in general has good mobility with cloak, obvious. Yeah, definite S class for me. Next class we have is Macro. Now, Macro I'm going to put in B. Macro is a class that it's a high skill ceiling class. You can do good with Macro, you know, you can, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot of finesse because you actually have to utilize some ground AoE moves on a Macro to even like compete in damage, you know, have sufficient amount of damage. Macros are is a class that I feel like you also have to be a vampire, which I don't like. I don't like how you have to be a vampire on Macro just for you to perform decently, you know. But Macro, like I said, the damage takes a lot of finesse when you're going up against you know, experienced people in a 1v1 situation. If you're in Imperial City Citadel and you just pop up on somebody, you're probably not going to win that as a Macro, because you know, people against an experienced player, because people are not going to just stand in AoEs, just move out of it. But in a group setting, Macro is really valuable. It's like damage that people doesn't expect, like because when they're in a group setting, your enemy is not only going to be focused on you. There's multiple people they have to be focused on, and if they're focused on somebody else, they're pretty much screwed. You hit that with that you know, that boneyard, you do your whole rotation. It's just unexpected big damage, especially on flags where you know you have to defend the point and get people off a point. It's good damage with the Necromancer ultimate as well. The not the Goliath, what is it called? The Flesh Astronaut, that's what it's called, you feel me? Or the Pestilence Astronaut, or the other morph if you want to use that. It's really good to like get people off flags or off a position. So yeah, but like I said, the damage is just not there, or it's something you need to finesse. But they have really good sustain, really good resource sustain. It's Necro. The healing is crazy. So yeah, Necro is gonna be B. You're gonna be doing good in certain situations and bad in other situations. Now, Scarecrow, gotta put it in S, bro. It's an easy S for me. It's the S for me. Nah, it's an easy S though, bro. Now that just like one little change from this update just puts Scarecrow on a whole nother level. Scarecrow has always been S for me, but now that Spirit Guardian is based off of their weapon damage, now it's gonna give them heals based off of weapon damage. It just puts them in a whole nother level. I feel like I'm just an unkillable force when I play my Stamina Necro, bro. It just feels like if I don't want to, I don't gotta die. Same thing with DK too. DK and Stamina, they're very similar in terms of, you know, why I'm putting them in S. It's just, if they don't want to die, they don't have to die, bro. They're sustained. It's just been so boosted up with this update and having access to magical heals. It's ridiculous. They have really good burst. You know, with Blast Bomb. Blast Bombs is basically like a second uppercut that puts them defile on you. You know, you hit them with an uppercut, that Blast Bomb hits you, then you're not even healing. That's the easy, just uppercut, Blast Bombs, reverse slash. You feel me? That's a body. Yeah, in terms of resource sustain, forget about it, bro. The resource sustain is just so good on Necro. When you have your summonings up, you not only when you have your summoning up, you get good magicka and stamina recoveries. You get like 200, I believe, or 300. Not only do you get recoveries from having those up, but when you have your tether up and you're tethering to a corpse, you get stamina from that too. And that's a free ability. So that's basically free stamina sustain. So yeah, in terms of you know, resource sustain, Necro got it. You know, bulkiness, Necro got it. Damage, Necro got it. They just got it all. You don't even need to run something like Major Expedition on Necro, because they just a force. They don't gotta run from you. They can just shake with multiple people. So yeah, Necro is a definite S. Now, next class we have is Magwater. Now, I'm debating on putting it in B or in C, but I think I'm gonna put it in C. Like, Magwater is just down bad right now. Like, it's down terrible. It's the new Magblade, basically, bro. A lot of people that I know who've even played Mag Warden just gave up on it and made it a pure healer. If you have an ESO friend that, like, you know, is playing the class, then all of a sudden they make that class into like a pure tank or a pure healer, they just gave up on the class. But for PvP, they just gave up because they wasn't performing well, or, you know, they wasn't performing well with the class. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people who's given up on Mag Warden. They just don't stack up to the other classes in terms of damage. They don't stack up. Destro staff on Mag Warden is the most awkward thing ever, bro. It's the most awkward thing ever. Like, it's so awkward to use Destro staff on Mag Warden because I feel like their burst doesn't resonate with Destro staff. They have some close range abilities and some long range abilities, and it's like to shift between them is not like a smooth process. You know, I feel like you have to go two-handed on them, and even with two-handed, it doesn't save them, bro. Because, you know, two-handed, I think Mag Warden, you need a couple of abilities from your weapon skills, but two-handed, you're not going to be using uppercut on Mag. You might as well just go stand Warden for that, you know? Like, it's, you know, burst setup is not good. Like for example, stand Warden, their burst setup is good. You know, you uppercut. If you're running two-hand, you uppercut again, that person is stunned, the beetles is coming out, boom, boom. You feel me? That while they're on their back, they boom, boom, the beetles are coming out, they're gonna have good damage. But Mag Warden is like the opposite of that. It's like the setup is so weird. I feel like Mag Warden is another class that you have to be a vampire to succeed with. You need that eviscerate ability, which I don't like. I don't like how you have to be a vampire. Mag Warden seems like a class that should do good, but doesn't. It seems like a class that should be bulky, but every time I run into them or every time I play them, it's like easy to kill me, or they're easy to kill. In terms of damage, they just don't got it in damage. They just don't got it. Mobility, Warden has wings. They have mobility, but in terms of everything else, they just like underperform compared to the other classes. So I gotta put Mag Warden in C. Now Stand Warden, I gotta put in S. Stand Warden is just too good of a class right now not to put in S. Now that they have access to all the magical heals that Warden have, they have access to like an arsenal of sustain that they can access anytime, and it's just so good for their 1vx. We already know Stand Warden is the best class for 1vx. They could take a whole group of people on a field trip and just pick them off one by one. Uppercut, uppercut again, put people on their back. Subterranean assault, execute, that person is dead. Even if you don't want to run two-handed and you want to run something like a dual wheel, you can run those flying dragons, boom, boom. Or from a distance, you could put bleed on people, you could set them off balance, use their subterranean assault, boom, boom, then spin to win, that person is executed. Just so much burst, so much speed with wings, and such good sustain, which is all the heals they have access to. It's like, it would be silly for me to put them in S. They've always been S, but it's just overkill now. It's just overkill, basically. Next we have is Magplar. Magplar is going to be an A. You already know Magplar is one of my it's my like kind of my favorite class in the game. Like, come on, it's the most funnest class in the game, bro. Like, really. What can I say? Magplar, good damage, one of the best offensive heals in the game with jabs. Get so much healing with that ability. Vampire and Magplar go hand in hand. You don't need Vampire on a Magplar. That's something you don't need on it, but it's really good to have. You know what I'm saying? You can perform well without Vampire, but with the Undeath passive and Mistform, it just works so well with Templar in general. They have access to really good heals like Ruin Focus and Cleanse Ritual. Cleanse Ritual is not only a good heal, but it's the best cleanse in the game. Cleanse like 5 negative effects on you. It's good for the team as well and group fights, because your teammates can synergize with the cleansing ritual and takes the negative effects off themselves as well. Like, Templar got it. The reason I'm not gonna put it in S, I am debating on it. You can say this is S. I wouldn't blame you if you was like, yeah, Magplar should be an S. But I feel like for me personally playing it, I feel like the only thing that Magplar is S in is just overall like sustain, like healing. Like if you don't want to drop with Magplar, you don't have to drop. But in terms of damage and mobility and resource sustain in general, they, you know, they're solid. They're good. They're not overperforming. Like I'm not like Magplar is not doing as good as any of these other classes in S. You know what I'm saying? They're not, but Magplar is still really, really good. So yeah, solid A. Now Stamplar S. What did I tell you? Like I already like kind of spoiled it. There's a lot of green in the top tiers, bro. This update was really just like catered to stamina classes. Stamina Templar, now that they have access to you know, now that they can use restoration staff, it's just so good. I like on my Stamp Templar personally, I'm starting to run two-handed and restoration staff, and they're just God heals on both bars. The God heals on both bars is so hard to drop me. And cleansing ritual, now that scales to weapon damage and I'm getting good heals off cleansing ritual, like it's hard to drop me. You know what I'm saying? Jabs is really good. Crit is really good right now. And Templar, you already know, gets an actual 10% extra crit damage. Crit really chunks right now. Like I love crit right now. It's ridiculous. Like Templar, if you want to have mobility, you can go to Citric Order and get Race Against Time, make yourself a little bit faster, along with the good heals, along with the good damage. It's like, well, I don't even know what else to say. They're just S. They perform really well. I've been performing really well with Stamplar. So yeah, easy S. Next class we have is Magsork. Now Magsork, I want to put in. I'm gonna put in A. The reason I'm putting in A, the difference between A and S with me with Magsork is shields. Shields is, I'm not gonna lie, it's so easy to just drop. Like, especially now that damage is like sort of insane. Like the damage has been insane, but like damage is insane now. And like, bro, especially when you fighting DKs, it's so easy to drop shields, bro. It's like one, two tick, boom, the shield is off, and you can really just get like beat up as a Magsork. But Magsork is still a good, solid class. They have one of the best play styles in the game for me. Like I love playing Magsork. Their play style is just so cheesy. Like not only do they have shields, like I said, shields is something you could get rid of easily, but they're still there. They're still a presence. And if you have like resistances and health to back up those shields, you're not gonna die easily. You know, you're not gonna die easily. You have access to streak, which can get you out of 90% of situations. Your burst from range is absolutely absurd. I've even seen people make like melee Stamsorks, bro. I mean melee Magsorks, which is absolutely like it works though. I've seen people doing it and it works. I don't feel like Magsork. I don't know why I keep confusing them. I don't feel like Magsork needs to run things like Vigor or Rally. I don't feel like that's something they need. I feel like the old setup is gonna do just as good. But yeah, they have access to Dark Deal, which is one of the best resource sustainabilities in the game. Basically taking one resource and turning it into another resource. So the only thing that I really don't like about Magsork is the ults they have. I don't feel like they really have good ults. Like Overload is not a really good ult to me. Storm Atronach is good on occasion. I feel like you have to run like Meteor or something, or you can even run Dawnbreaker if you want to be like that. Goes back to the old days. But yeah, overall Magsork, solid class, definite A. You could debate it S though, but like I said, the only thing that's not putting it in S for me is the shield situation. Now, last but not least, we have Stamsork. Now, Stamsork is also going to go in A for me. Stamsork is actually the only stamina class that I don't consider to be S. And it's not that it's a bad class, it's just that its class abilities don't have a lot of magical heals. And that's the big thing with a lot of these classes in S, is that their sustain just went pew way up just because, you know, they have access to magical heals now, and the magical heals is just doing just numbers for them. But either way, Stam Soak is still really, really good. They still have really good mobility with Streak. They still have really, really good damage with their light and heavy attacks with Bound or Armaments, I think it's called. Bound Armaments and Crystal Weapon. Their basics really, really hurt. You could run two-handed and dual wield and perform really, really well. I personally like to run dual wield and Sword and Shield on Stam Soak. I feel comfortable with that sort of game style, but it's like Stam Soak has such a, you know, a versatile, why I said it like that, versatile game style. Like you could run a lot of things on them. You could like play around with a lot of things. In terms of resource sustain, they have access to Dark Deal as well. Ultimate, Dawnbreaker, just a solid class, but they're not in S. They're not in S. They're not performing. Stam Soak is not performing better than any of these classes, but they're definitely not underperforming as well. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, join the Empire. This is my PvP class tier list. Let me know if I got anything wrong with it. Do you think like, dude, bro, like, you might be thinking like, bro, why you have all these stamina classes in S? Like, bro, like, have you been in PvP, bro? Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, like I said, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments if you feel like you disagree with some things. You feel like one thing should be lower or one thing should be more up. Let me know in the comments and I'll respond to you. That's pretty much it. Drazel Empire out. I'm gonna see ya.